Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you are in the world to The Show Must Go Online, weekly Shakespeare plays broadcast live by a global cast for a global audience. Shout out where you're watching from in the live chat. This is now our 9th show in 8 weeks, so whether you're a die-hard digital groundling or joining us for the first time, we're thrilled that you can be with us tonight. I'm Robert Myles, actor, writer, director and creator of the Shakespeare Deck. Tonight's The Comedy of Errors will commence in approximately 15 minutes' time. Tonight's show contains scenes of comic violence and some adult humour. The first half will run for approximately 60 minutes with a 10-minute interval, followed by a 60-minute second half. I want to start tonight's show with a very special thank you to Ben Crystal and Scott Ellis, who stepped in to run a rehearsal each for today's show while I was in final preparations for Shakespeare's Star Wars, which you can find on our playlist in the description of this video. Both Ben and Scott made invaluable contributions to the show, and the cast and crew are hugely grateful for your time and talent. And another special thank you to our patrons over on our Patreon page, also in the YouTube description. We now have successfully broken the 100 patron milestone. Our Patreon serves as an opt-in hardship fund for all those who take part. So if you enjoyed tonight's show, please consider supporting our work. There's a link in the video description, as I mentioned. While you're there, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. On social, you can now follow the show's official Twitter account, TSMG Online Live, or follow at The Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. Share your reactions using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline. Tonight's game is all about pounds. That is, money changing hands and beatings taken. Who gets the most? Who gets the least? We're about to find out. At this time, I'd like to introduce our fabulous cast and crew, starting as always with our phenomenal producer, Sarah Peachy.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm an actor and innovation project manager based in Glasgow.
Our associate stage manager and master of props, Emily Ingram.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm a writer, director and stage manager based in the UK.
Returning on sound is Adam Woodhams.
Hi everyone, I'm a sound designer based in the southwest of England.
And special thanks to our resident fight directors, Yarit Dor and Enrique Ortunio. Casting director Sydney Aldridge has curated an incredible cast to ring in our unofficial Season 2 opener. They're creative, they're courageous, and a lot of them look a lot like each other. Playing Robbie Capaldi, I doubt he is, playing Antipholus of Syracuse, Robbie Capaldi.
Hi, I'm Robbie Capaldi, and I'm a professional actor locked down in London at the moment.
Playing Adriana, Miztli Rose.
Hello, Miztli Rose, a professional actor and comedian coming at you from London.
Playing Antipholus of Ephesus, it's Jed Resnick.
Hello, I'm Jed Resnick, over in New York City, professional actor.
As Dromio of Syracuse, Amy Sutton.
Hi, I'm Amy, and I am coming at you from Brighton, UK.
As Egeon, it's Chris Garner.
Hi, I'm Chris, professional actor in the Cotswolds.
Dromio of Ephesus, Roanna Lewis.
Hi, I'm Roanna. I'm an actor based in South Wales.
As Luciana, Kelly Bronwen Jones.
Hi, I'm Kelly B. Jones, and I'm based in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm an actor.
As Solinus, Duke of Ephesus, Bill Glaser.
Hi, I'm Bill Glaser. I'm a retired bus driver and an amateur actor in Missoula, Montana.
As Angelo, Alice Osmanski.
Hi, I'm Alice Osmanski. I'm an actor usually based in London, currently in lockdown in Suffolk.
As Aemilia, Charlotte Harvey.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm an actor in New York City.
As Courtezan, Honey Gabriel.
Hello, I'm Honey Gabriel. I'm in lockdown in South London, and I'm an actor and voiceover artist.
And as our ensemble for tonight, we have John DeFilippo.
Hi, I'm John DeFilippo. I'm an actor from Queens, New York.
And Harry Boyd.
Hello, I'm Harry Boyd, and I'm a professional actor locked down in St Albans.
With a special appearance as Dr. Pinch, all the way from Australia, it's Gary Boulter.
Hi, I'm Gary Boulter. I'm a professional actor based in Sydney, Australia.
And our valiant swings for this evening, who, in the event of technical difficulties or personal emergencies, will leap into action to keep the story moving forward. First of all, it's Adam Boyle.
Hi, I'm Adam Boyle. I'm a professional director and actor.
And last but by no means least, Claire Richardson.
Hi, I'm Claire Richardson. I'm an actor and fight performer based in London.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for donating your time and talent to perform for our audience tonight. It's now my great pleasure to welcome our guest for this evening to introduce the play, Edward Daranyi. Edward has spent 19 seasons as part of the Stratford Festival of Canada, serving variously as an assistant director, associate director of new play development, and associate director of education. A global Shakespearean, Edward has co-created landmark multidisciplined adaptations of A Midsummer Night's Dream in Mozambique with Shakespeare Link Canada and Montes Namuli, and Romeo and Juliet, a hearing and deaf multilingual experiment with Shakespeare Link Canada. He continues to work with artists and teachers in El Salvador in partnership with the Stratford Festival and Cuso International. Edward has taught acting at the National Theatre School of Canada, the Centre for Indigenous Theatre, the National Ballet School of Canada, and many more. His production company, In the Blink, produces youth-orientated theatre in the Toronto area. Edward, it's an honour to welcome you today. The play is Comedy of Errors, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here. So my name is Edward Daranyi. I'm the artistic director of both In the Blink Productions and Carbon Neutral Classics, both based here in Stratford, Ontario, Canada. And I want everyone to know right off the bat, I'm not a Shakespeare scholar. I'm a theater practitioner. And while I do a ton of research when I'm researching plays that I'm about to direct, or Shakespeare in general, I'm not a scholar. So I come to this introduction from the place of a theater practitioner and somebody who is in love with Shakespeare's plays and looks at them from the perspective of how one gets transported to a different world and a different dimension while watching these plays. So scholarly things, there's a lot that I know. These are, the source for Comedy of Errors is likely based on Plautus's 2 different plays. But I'm looking at research from the point of view of a director and of an actor, and to better understand the play and the times that they were written in and how they connect with the world that we live in today. And then an offshoot of that, of course, when we get together as a company, is how we work together to build the world for the audience to inhabit with us, the acting company. Now, that being said, always wanting to be transported by the story and having a really particularly great memory of this play, as it was the very first Shakespeare that I ever saw, this and Twelfth Night. Coincidentally so, another play that deals with twins and mistaken identity. But these are the 2 plays that changed my world altogether. First I'm going to kind of make a confession to you as a student who came to study Shakespeare in high school. I was not a very good student. I didn't really understand it, and personally I just didn't care. And that's why these 2 plays changed, like they just rocked my world so much as I witnessed for the first time the words springing to life before me. Obviously, me going to the theater, I never bothered to read the play before I went into the theater. So consequently, I was actually truly surprised by the twists and the turns of the plot. And I can remember vividly having great belly laughs as the characters were developed and revealed in front of me. And at the interval, I was in the lobby having a beverage and I guess eavesdropping on a couple seasoned theater veterans as they dissected the play and the direction the production was taking. This was a very, very modern dress version of this production. And as they discovered that I was eavesdropping on their conversation, they turned and asked me what I thought as a student coming to see this play. And the only thing that I could reply was what I had just seen in front of me up until that point in the play and what I had read in the program from the director's notes. So how I replied was really simple. I said, twins, lovers, wives, merchants, jealousy. What's not to love about this play? And the best is yet to come. There's school teachers, call girls, a would-be exorcist, possible magic spells, and I know there's going to be a ton more adventure, which gave them a really, really good laugh because it had nothing to do with the things that they were dissecting about the play and the different versions that they had seen. So let's take a second and dive into the characters. Without giving away too many spoilers, let's just take a kind of a glance at what's going to happen in the play and set some things up for you, because this can be a very, very confusing play. So Egeon, a merchant of Syracuse, is condemned to death in Ephesus for violating a ban against travel between the two rival cities, Syracuse and Ephesus. And at his execution, or at least on the day, he tells the Ephesian Duke, Solinus, that he's come to Syracuse in search of his wife and one of his twin sons. The pair were separated from him 25 years previously in a shipwreck. And the other twin, who grew up with Egeon, is also traveling the world in search of the missing half of his own family. And the twins, we learn, are identical, and each has an identical twin servant named Dromio. There's nothing confusing in this so far, is there? Well, the Duke is so moved by this story that he grants Egeon a day to raise the ransom that would be necessary to save his life. Meanwhile, unknown to Egeon, his son, Antipholus of Syracuse, and Antipholus' servant Dromio are also visiting Ephesus, where Antipholus' missing twin, known as Antipholus of Ephesus, is a prosperous citizen of the city. Okay, now what could possibly go sideways in this setup? Well, for starters, things like this. And again, I'm not going to give away many spoilers here, but little things like Adriana, the Antipholus of Ephesus' wife, mistaking Antipholus of Syracuse for her husband and dragging him home for dinner. And then shortly thereafter, Antipholus of Ephesus, with his servant Dromio of Ephesus, returning home and being refused entry into his own house. Now, hang on, hold on a second. So we've got a whole bunch of mistaken identities starting to happen. Now it starts to get really crazy. Antipholus of Syracuse falls in love with Luciana, Adriana's sister. The confusion increases in and around a gold chain that was ordered by the Ephesian Antipholus, but given to the Syracusian Antipholus. And then Antipholus of Ephesus refusing to pay for the chain. Not surprising, because he never received it in the first place, and then getting arrested for that debt. So, and then I guess we could say people get thrown into cellars, somebody takes refuge in an abbey, there's charges brought upon people, begging ensues, loved ones are reconnected with each other. It's spectacular. So for you and this introduction, I'm going to go back to what I said to those two women. Twins, lovers, wives, merchants, jealousy, school teachers, call girls, a would-be exorcist, possible magic spells, loads of adventure. What's not to love about this play? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. Welcome to The Show Must Go Online, and tonight's offering, The Comedy of Errors.
Thank you so much for that fantastic introduction, Edward. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. You had a really unenviable task there, trying to summarize what is one of the most difficult plays to explain as opposed to watch. And so I thought you did a tremendous job with that. And I hope that's whet all of your collective appetites for this. The show is now about to begin. So please remember to capture your reactions on social media using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline and prepare to be swept away with the chaos and confusion of Ephesus in tonight's The Comedy of Errors. Act 1, Scene 1, a hall in Duke Solinus' palace. Enter the Duke of Ephesus with Egeon, the merchant of Syracuse, jailer with officers and other attendants.
Proceed, Solinus, to procure my fall and by the doom of death end, woes and all.
Merchant of Syracuse, plead no more. I am not partial to infringe our laws. The enmity and discord which of late sprung from the rancorous outrage of your Duke to merchants, our well-dealing countrymen who, wanting guilders to redeem their lives, have sealed his rigorous statutes with their bloods, excludes all pity from our threatening looks. For since the mortal and intestine jars twixt thy seditious countrymen and us, it hath in solemn synods been decreed, both by the Syracusians and ourselves, to admit no traffic to our adverse towns. Nay, more, if any born at Ephesus be seen at any Syracusian marts and fairs, again, if any Syracusian born come to the bay of Ephesus, he dies. His goods confiscate to the dukes disposed, unless 1,000 marks be levied to quit the penalty and to ransom him. Thy substance, valued at the highest rate, cannot amount unto 100 marks. Therefore, by law, thou art condemned to die.
Yet this my comfort when your words are done. My woes end likewise with the evening sun.
Well, Syracusian, say in brief the cause why thou departest from thy native home, and for what cause thou camest to Ephesus.
A heavier task could not have been imposed than I to speak my griefs unspeakable. Yet that the world may witness that my end was wrought by nature, not by vile offence. I'll utter what my sorrow gives me leave. In Syracuse was I born, and wed unto a woman, happy but for me, and by me had not our hap been bad. With her I lived in joy. Our wealth increased. By prosperous voyages I often made to Epidemium, till my factor's death and the great care of goods at random left drew me from kind embracements of my spouse, from whom my absence was not 6 months old, before herself, almost at fainting under the pleasing punishment that women bear, hath made provision for her, following me, and soon and safe arrived where I was. There had she not been long, but she became a joyful mother of 2 goodly sons, and, which was strange, the one so like the other as could not be distinguished but by names. And that very hour, and in the self-same inn, a mean woman was delivered of such a burden male, twins, both alike. Those, for their parents were exceeding poor, I bought and brought up to attend my sons. My wife, not meanly proud of 2 such boys, made daily motions for our home return. Unwilling, I agreed. Alas, too soon we came aboard. A league from Epidemion had we sailed, before the always wind, obeying deep, gave any tragic instance of our harm. But longer did we not retain much hope. For what obscured light the heavens did grant, did but convey unto our fearful minds a doubtful warrant of immediate death, which though myself would gladly have embraced, yet the incessant weepings of my wife, weeping before for what she saw must come, and piteous plainings of the pretty babes that mourned for fashion, ignorant what to fear, forced me to seek delays for them and me. And this it was, for other means was none. The sailors sought for safety by our boat and left the ship, then sinking ripe, to us. My wife, more careful for the latter born, had fastened him unto a spare mast, such as seafaring men provide for storms. To him one of the other twins was bound, whilst I had been like heedful of the other. The children thus disposed, my wife and I, fixing our eyes on whom our care was fixed, fastened ourselves at either end the mast, and floating straight, obedient to the stream, was carried towards Corinth. As we thought, at length the sun, gazing upon the earth, dispersed those vapours that offended us, and by the benefit of his wished light, the seas waxed calm, and we discovered 2 ships from afar, making amain to us, of Corinth that, of Epidaurus this. But ere they came, oh, let me say no more. Gather the sequel by that went before.
Nay, forward, old man. Do not break off so, for we may pity, though not pardon thee.
Oh, had the gods done so, I had now worthily termed them merciless to us. For ere the ships could meet by twice 5 leagues, we were encountered by a mighty rock, which being violently borne, our helpful ship was splitted in the midst, so that in this unjust divorce of us, fortune had left to both of us alike what to delight in, what to sorrow for, her part, her soul. Seeming as burdened with lesser weight, but not with lesser woe, was carried with more speed before the wind. And in our sight, they three were taken up by fishermen of Corinth, as we thought at length. Another ship had seized on us, and knowing whom it was their hap to save, gave healthful welcome to their shipwrecked guests, and would have reft the fishes of their prey had not their bark been very slow of sail. And therefore homeward did they bend their course. Thus have you heard me severed from my bliss, that by misfortunes was my life prolonged to tell sad stories of my own mishaps.
And for the sake of them thou sorrowest for, do me the favor to dilate at full what hath befallen of them and thee till now.
My youngest boy, and yet my eldest care at 18 years, became inquisitive after his brother, and importuned me that his attendant, so his case was like, reft of his brother but retained his name, might bear him company in the quest of him, whom whilst I laboured of a love to see, I hazarded the loss of whom I loved. 5 summers have I spent in farthest Greece, roaming clean through the bounds of Asia, and coasting homeward came to Ephesus, hopeless to find, yet loath to leave unsought or that or any place that harbours men. But here, here must end the story of my life. And happy were I in my timely death, could all my travels warrant me they live.
Hapless Aegeon, whom the fates have marked to bear the extremity of dire mishap. Now, trust me, were it not against our laws, against my crown, my oath, my dignity, which princes would they may not disannul, my soul should sue as advocate for thee. But though thou art judged to the death and past sentence may not be recalled, but to our honor's great disparagement, yet will I favor thee in what I can. Therefore, merchant, I'll limit thee this day to seek thy health by beneficial help. Try all the friends thou hast in Ephesus. Beg thou, or borrow, to make up the sum and live. If no, then thou art doomed to die. Jailer, take him to thy custody.
I will, my lord.
Hopeless and helpless doth Aegeon wend, but to procrastinate his lifeless end.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 2. The Mart. Enter Antipholus of Syracuse, First Merchant, and Dromio of Syracuse.
Therefore give out you are of Epidemium, lest that your goods too soon be confiscate. This very day a Syracusian merchant is apprehended for arrival here, and not being able to buy out his life according to the statute of the town, dies ere the weary sun set in the west. There is your money that I had to keep.
Go, bear it to the centaur. Where we host. And stay there, Dromio, till I come to thee. Within this hour, it will be dinner time. Till that, I'll view the manners of the town, peruse the traders, gaze upon the buildings, and then return and sleep within mine inn, for, with long travel, I am stiff and weary. Go, get thee away.
Many a man would take you at your word and go indeed, having so good a mean.
A trusty villain, sir, that very oft, when I am dull with care and melancholy, lightens my humour with his merry jests. What, will you walk with me about the town, and then go to my inn and dine with me?
I am invited, sir, to make certain merchants, of whom I hope to make much benefit. I crave your pardon. Soon at 5 o'clock, please you, I'll meet with you upon the mart, and afterwards consort you till bedtime. My present business calls me from you now.
Well, farewell till then. I will go lose myself and wander up and down to view this city.
Yes, sir, I commend you to your own content.
Oh, he that commends me to mine own content commends me to the thing I cannot get. I, to the world, am like a drop of water that in the ocean seeks another drop, who, falling there to find his fellow forth, unseen, inquisitive, confounds himself. So I, to find a mother and a brother in quest of them, oh, unhappy, lose myself. Oh, here comes the almanac of my true date. What now? Huh? How chance thou art returned so soon?
Returned so soon? Rather approach too late. The capon burns, the pig falls from the spit. The clock hath strucken 12 upon the bell. My mistress made it one upon my cheek. She is so hot because the meat is cold. The meat is cold because you come not home. You come not home because you have no stomach. You have no stomach, having broke your fast. But we that know what 'tis to fast and pray are penitent for your default today.
Stop in your wind, sir. Tell me this, I pray, where have you left the money that I gave you?
6pence that I had a Wednesday last to pay the saddler for my mistress Crupper. The saddler had it, sir. I kept it not.
I am not in a sportive humour now. Tell me, and dally not, where is the money? We being strangers here, how darest thou trust so great a charge from thine own custody?
I pray you jest, sir, as you sit at dinner. I, from my mistress, come to you in post. If I return, I shall be post indeed, for she will score your fault upon my pate. Methinks you're more like mine should be your clock and strike you home without a messenger.
Come, Dromio, come. These jests are out of season. Reserve them till a merrier hour than this. Where is the gold I gave in charge to thee?
Me, sir? Why, you gave no gold to me.
Come on, sir knave! Have done your foolishness and tell me how thou hast disposed thy charge.
My charge was but to fetch you from the mart home to your house, the Phoenix, sir, to dinner. My mistress and her sister stays for you.
Now, as I am a Christian, answer me. In what safe place have you bestowed my money? Or I shall break that merry sconce of yours that stands on tricks when I am indisposed. Where is the 1,000 marks thou hadst of me?
I have some marks of yours upon my pate, some of my mistress marks upon my shoulders, but not 1,000 marks between you both. If I should pay your worship those again, perchance you will not bear them patiently.
Thy mistress's marks? What mistress, slave, hast thou?
Your worship's wife, my mistress at the Phoenix, she that doth fast till you come home to dinner and prays that you will hie you home to dinner.
What wilt thou flout me unto my face? Being forbid. There, take you that, Sir Dave.
For God's sake, hold your hands. Nay, and you will not, sir. I will take my heels.
Upon my life. By some device or other, this villain is overwrought of all my money. They say this town is full of cousinage, as nimble jugglers that deceive the eye, dark working sorcerers that change the mind, soul-killing witches that deform the body, disguised cheaters, prating mountebanks, and many such like liberties of sin. Or if it proves so, I will be gone the sooner. I'll to the centaur to go seek this slave. I greatly fear my money is not safe.
Exit. Act 2, Scene 1. The house of Antipholus of Ephesus. Enter Adriana, wife to Antipholus of Ephesus, with Luciana, her sister.
Neither my husband nor the slave returned, that in such had sent I think to seek his master. Sure, Luciana, it is 2:00.
Perhaps some merchant hath invited him, and from the mart he's somewhere gone to dinner. Good sister, let us dine and never fret. A man is master of his liberty. Time is their master. And when they see time, they'll go or come if so. Be patient, sister.
Why should their liberty than ours be more?
Because their business still lies out a door.
Look, when I serve him so, he takes it ill.
Oh no, he is the bridle of your will.
There's none but asses will be bridled so.
Why, headstrong liberty is lashed with woe. There's nothing situate under heaven's eye, but hath his bound in earth, in sea, in sky. The beasts, the fishes, and the winged fowls are their males' subjects, and at their controls. Man more divine, the master of all these, lord of the wide world and wild watery seas, endued with intellectual sense and souls, of more preeminence than fish and fowls, are masters to their females and their lords. Then let your will attend on their accords.
This servitude makes to keep you unwed.
Not this, but troubles of the marriage bed.
But were you wedded, you would bear some sway.
Ere I learn love, I'll practice to obey.
How if your husband starts some otherwhere?
Till he come home again, I would forbear.
Patience unmoved. No marvel though she pause. They can be meek that have no other cause. A wretched soul, bruised with adversity, we bid be quiet when we hear it cry. But were we burdened with the like weight of pain, as much or more, we should ourselves complain. So thou, that hast no unkind mate to grieve thee, with urging helpless patience would relieve me. But if thou live to see like right bereft, thou full begged patience in thee will be left.
Well, I will marry one day, but to try. Here comes your man. Now is your husband nigh?
Say, is your tardy master now at hand?
Nay, he's at 2 hands with me, and that my 2 ears can witness.
Say, didst thou speak with him? Knowest thou his mind?
Aye, he told his mind upon mine ear. Beshrew his hand, I scarce could understand it.
Spake he so doubtfully thou couldst not feel his meaning?
Nay, he struck so plainly, I could too well feel his blows, and withal so doubtfully that I could scarce understand them.
But say, I prithee, is he coming home? It seems he hath great care to please his wife.
Oh, why, mistress, sure, my master is horn mad.
Horn mad, thou villain!
I mean, not cuckold mad, but sure he is stark mad. When I desired him to come home to dinner, he asked me for 1,000 marks in gold. "'Tis dinner time," quoth I. "My gold," quoth he. "Your meat doth burn," quoth I. "My gold," quoth he. "Will you come?" quoth I. "My gold," quoth he. "Where is 1,000 marks I gave thee, villain?" "The pig," quoth I, "is burned." "My gold," quoth he. "My mistress, sir," quoth I. "Hang up thy mistress! I know not thy mistress! Out on thy mistress!"
Quoth who?
Quoth my master. "I know," quoth he, "no house, no wife, no mistress. So that my errand due unto my tongue, I thank him, I bear home upon my shoulders." For in conclusion, he did beat me there.
Go back again, thou slave, and fetch him home.
Go back again, and be new beaten home. For God's sake, send some other messenger.
Back, slave, or I will break thy pater cross.
And he will bless that cross with other beating. Between you, I shall have a holy head.
Hence, prating peasant, fetch thy master home.
Am I so round with you as you with me, that like a football you do spurn me thus? You spurn me hence, he will spurn me hither. If I last in this service, you must case me in leather.
Fie, how impatience loureth in your face.
His company must do his minions grace, whilst I at Hath homely age the alluring beauty took from my poor cheek? Then he hath wasted it. Are my discourses dull, barren my wit? If voluble and sharp discord be marred, unkindness blunts it more than marble hard. To their gay vestments his affections bait. That's not my fault, he's master of my estate. What ruins are in me that can be found by him not ruined? Then he is the ground of my defeatures. My decayed fair, a sunny look of his would soon repair. But too unruly dear, he breaks the pale and feeds from home. Poor I am, but his stale.
Self-harming jealousy, fie, beat it hence.
Unfeeling fools can with such wrongs dispense. I know his eye doth homage otherwhere, or else what lets it but he would be here? Sister, you know he promised me a chain. Would that alone a love he would detain, so he would keep fair quarter with his bed. Since my beauty cannot please his eye, I'll weep what's left and weeping die.
How many fond fools serve mad jealousy?
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 2, a public place. Enter Antipholus of Syracuse.
What? The gold I gave to Dromio is laid up safe at the Centaur, and the heedful slave is wandered forth in care to seek me out. By computation and mine host's report, I could not speak with Dromio since at first I sent him from the mart. Oh, see, here he comes. How now, sir? Is your merry humour altered? As you love strokes, so jest with me again. You know no centaur? You received no gold? Your mistress sent to have me home to dinner? My house was at the Phoenix. Wast thou mad that thus so madly thou didst answer me?
What answer, sir? When spake I such a word?
Even now, even here, not half an hour since.
I did not see you since you sent me hence home to the Centaur with the gold you gave me.
Villain, thou didst deny the gold's receipt and toldst me of a mistress and a dinner, for which I hope thou feltst I was displeased.
Well, I am glad to see you in this merry vein. What means this jest? I pray you, master, tell me.
Yea, dost thou jeer and flout me in the teeth? Thinkst thou I jest? Hold, thou that, and that, and...
So for God's sake, now your jest is earnest. I mean, what bargain do you give it me?
Because that I familiarly sometimes do use you for my fool and chat with you, your sauciness will jest upon my love, and make a common of my serious hours. When the sun shines, let foolish gnats make sport, but creep in crannies when he hides his beams. If you will jest with me, know my aspect, and fashion your demeanour to my looks, or I will beat this method in your sconce.
Sconce, you call it? Yes, so you would leave battering. I would rather have it ahead. And you use these blows long. I must get a sconce for my head and ensconce it too, or else I shall seek my wit in my shoulders. But pray, sir, why am I beaten?
Dost thou not know?
Nothing, sir, but that I am beaten.
Shall I tell you why?
Aye, sir, and wherefore? For they say every why hath a wherefore.
Well, why? First, for flouting me, and then wherefore for urging it the second time to me.
Was there ever any man thus beaten out of season, when in the why and the wherefore is neither rhyme nor reason? Well, sir, I thank you.
Thank me, sir, for what?
Marry, sir, this is something you gave me for nothing.
I'll make you amends next to give you nothing for something. But say, sir, is it dinner time?
No, sir, I think the meat wants that I have.
Good time, sir. What's that?
Basting.
Well, sir, then 'twill be dry.
Well, if it be so, I pray you eat none of it.
Your reason?
Lest it make you choleric and purchase me another dry basting.
Well, sir, learn to jest in good time. There's a time for all things.
Yeah, well, I durst have denied that before you were so choleric.
By what rule, sir?
Marry, sir, by a rule as plain as the plain, bold pate of Father Time himself.
Let's hear it.
Well, there's no time for a man to recover his hair that grows bald by nature.
May he not do it by fine and recovery?
Oh, yes, pay a fine for a periwig and recover the lost hair of another man.
Why is time such a niggard of hair, being as it is so plentiful in excrement?
Because it is a blessing he bestows on beasts, and what he hath scanted men in hair, he hath given them in wit.
Oh, why, but there's many a man hath more hair than wit.
Not a man of those, but hath the wit to lose his hair.
Why, thou didst conclude hairy men, plain dealers without wit. Ho!
The plainer dealer, the sooner lost, yet he loseth it in a kind of jollity.
For what reason?
For two, and sound ones too.
Nay, not sound, I pray you.
Not sure ones then.
Nay, not sure in a thing falsing.
Certain ones then.
Name them.
The one, to save the money that he spends in tiring, and the other, that at dinner they should not drop in his porridge.
Ah, you would all this time have proved there is no time for all things.
Marion did, sir, namely, even no time to recover hair lost by nature.
Ah, but your reason was not substantial, why there is no time to recover.
Ah, thus I mend it. Time himself is bold, and therefore to the world's end will have bold followers. Eh?
I knew 'twould be a bold conclusion. But soft, who wafts us yonder?
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect. I am not Adriana, nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ear, that never objects were pleasing to thine eye, that never touch was welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savoured in thy taste, unless I spake or looked or touched or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband? Oh, how comes it that thou art estranged from thyself? Thyself I call it, being strange to me, that undividable, incorporate, and better than thy dear self's better part. Oh, do not tear thyself away from me. For no, my love, as easy mayest thou fall a drop of water in the breaking gulf, and take unmingled thence that drop again without addition or diminishing, as take from me thyself and not me too. Dearly would it touch thee to the quick, shouldst thou but hear that I were licentious, and that this body consecrate to thee by ruffian lust should be contaminate. Wouldst thou not spit at me and spurn me and hurl the name husband in my face and tear the stained skin off my harlot brow, and from my false hand cut the wedding ring and wake it with a deep divorcing brow? I know thou canst, and therefore see thou do it. I am possessed with an adulterous blot. My blood is mingled with the crime of lust. For if we two be one, and thou play false, I do digest the poison of thy flesh, being strumpeted by thy contagion. Keep then, fair league, and truce with thy true bed. I live disdained, and thou undishonoured.
Plead you to me, fair dame? I know you not. In Ephesus I am but 2 hours old, as strange unto your town as to your talk, who every word with all my wit being scanned, wants wit in all one word to understand. I pray you, good lady, do speak unto your mute sister. Perchance she doth have a voice.
Oh, fie, brother! How the world is changed with you! When were you wont to use my sister thus? She sent for you by Dromio home to dinner.
By Dromio?
By me?
By thee, and thou this didst return from him, that he did buffet thee, and in his blows denied his house, this house for his, me for his wife.
Did you converse, sir, with this gentlewoman? What is the course and drift of your compact?
Aye, sir, I never saw her till this time.
Villain, thou liest. For even her very words didst thou deliver to me on the mart.
I never spake with her in all my life.
How can she thus then call us by our names? Unless it be by inspiration.
Ill it agrees with your gravity to counterfeit thus grossly with your slave, abetting him to thwart me in my mood. Be it my wrong, you are from me exempt, but wrong not that wrong with a more contempt. Come, I will fasten on this sleeve of thine. Thou art an elm, my husband, I a vine, whose weakness is married to thy stronger state, and makes me with my strength to communicate. If aught possess thee from me, it is dross. You ivy, briar, or idle moss, who, for want of pruning with intrusion, infect thy sap and live on in thy confusion.
Oh, to me she speaks. She moves me for her theme. What, was I married to her in my dream? Or sleep I now, and think I hear all this? What error drives our eyes and ears amiss? Oh, until I know this uncertainty, I'll entertain the offered fallacy.
Dromio, go bid the servants spread for dinner.
Oh, for my beads! I cross me for a sinner. This is the fairyland. Oh, spite of spites. We talk with goblins, owls, and with sprites. If we obey them not, this will ensue. They'll suck our breath or pinch us black and blue.
Why pratest thou to thyself and answerest not? Dromio, thy drumble, thou snail, thou slug, thou sot.
Transformed, master, am I not?
I think thou art in mind, and so am I.
Nay, master, both in mind and in my shape.
That thou hast thine own form?
Oh no, I am an ape.
Oh.
If thou art changed to aught, 'tis to an ass.
'Tis true, she rides me and I long for grass. 'Tis so I am an ass, else it could never be but I should know her as well as she knows me.
Come, no longer will I be the fool to put the finger in the eye and weep, whilst man and master laugh my woes to scorn. Come, sir, to dinner. Dromio, keep the gate. Husband, I'll dine above with you today and shrive you of 1,000 idle pranks. Sirrah, if any ask you for your master, say he dines forth and let no creature enter. Come, sister. Dromio, play the porter well.
Am I in earth, in heaven, or in hell? Sleeping or waking, mad or well advised? Known unto these and to myself disguised? I'll say as they say and persever so, and in this mist at all adventures go.
Master, shall I be porter at the gate?
Aye, and let none enter, lest I break your pate.
Come, Antipholus, we dine too late.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1. Before the house of Antipholus of Ephesus. Enter Antipholus of Ephesus, his man Dromio of Ephesus, Angelo the goldsmith, and Balthazar the merchant.
Oh, good Senior Angelo, you must excuse us all. My wife is shrewish when I keep not hours. Say that I lingered with you at your shop to see the making of her carcanet, and that tomorrow you will bring it home. Oh, but here's a villain that would face me down. He met me on the mart, and then I beat him and charged him with 1,000 marks in gold, and that I did deny my wife and house. Thou, drunkard thou! What didst thou mean by this?
Say what you will, sir, but I know what I know. That you beat me at the mart, I have your hand to show. If the skin were parchment and your blows you gave were ink, your own handwriting would tell you what I think.
I think thou art an ass.
Marry, if so doth appear, by the wrongs I suffer and the blows I bear, I should kick being kicked, and being at that pass, you would keep from my heels and beware of an ass.
You're sad, Signor Balthazar. Pray God our cheer may answer my goodwill and your good welcome here.
I hold your dainties cheap, sir, and you're welcome, dear.
Oh, Senior Balthazar, either at flesh or fish, a table full of welcome makes scarce one dainty dish.
Good meat, sir, is common, that every churl affords.
And welcome more common, for that's nothing but words.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast.
I to a niggardly host and more sparing guest, but though my cates be mean, take them in good part. Better cheer you may have, but not with better heart. But soft, my door is locked. Go, bid them let us in.
Maud, Bridget, Marion, Cicely, Gillian, Gin.
Mome, malt horse, capon, coxcomb, idiot, patch. Either get thee from the door or sit down at the hatch. Dost thou conjure for wenches that thou calls for such store when one is too many? Get thee from the door.
What patch is made our porter? My master stays in the street.
Well, let him walk from whence he came, lest he catch a cold on his feet.
Who talks within? Oh, open the door.
Right, sir, I'll tell you when, and you tell me wherefore.
Wherefore? For my dinner, I have not dined today.
Well, not today here you must not. Come again when you may.
What art thou that keepst me out from the house thy own?
The porter for this time, sir, and my name is Dromio.
Oh, villain! Thou hast stolen both mine office and my name. The one ne'er got me credit and the other mickle blame. If thou hadst been Dromio today in my place, thou wouldst have changed thy face for a name and thy name for an ass.
What a coil is there, Dromio? Who are those at the gate?
Let my master in, loose.
Faith, no, he comes too late, and so tell your master.
Oh, Lord, I must laugh. Have it you with a proverb, shall I set it in my staff?
Have it you with another, that's... When? Can you tell?
If thy name be called Loose, Loose thou hast answered him well.
Do you hear me, minion? You'll let us in, I hope?
I thought to have asked you.
Well, you said no.
So come help. Well struck, there was blow for blow.
Thou baggage, let me in.
Can you tell for whose sake?
Master, knock the door hard.
Let him knock till it ache.
You'll cry for this, minion, if I beat the door down. Go.
What needs all that? And a pair of stocks in the town?
Who is that at the door that keeps all this noise?
By my troth, your town is troubled with unruly boys.
Are you there, wife? You might have come before.
Why, your wife, sir knave. Get you from the door.
If you went in pain, master, this knave would go sore.
Here is neither cheer, sir, nor welcome. We would fain have either.
In debating which is best, we shall part with neither.
They stand at the door, master. Bid them welcome hither.
There is something in the wind that we cannot get in.
You would say so, master, if your garments were thin. Your cake here is warm within. You stand here in the cold. It would make a man mad as a buck to be so bought and sold.
Go fetch me something. I'll break up the gate.
Oi, break any breaking here, and I'll break your knave's pate.
A man may break a word with you, sir, and words are but wind, aye, and break it in your face.
It seems thou wantst breaking. Out upon thee, hind.
Here's too much. Out upon thee, I pray, let me in.
Aye, when fowls have no feathers and fish have no fin.
Well, I'll break in. Go borrow me a crow.
A crow without feather, master, mean you so? For a fish without a fin, there's a fowl without a feather. If a crow help us in, sirrah, we'll pluck a crow together.
Go get thee gone, fetch me an iron crow.
Have patience, sir. Oh, let it not be so. Herein you war against your reputation and draw within the compass of suspect the unviolated honor of your wife. Once this, your long experience of her wisdom, her sober virtue, years, and modesty plead on her part, some cause to you unknown. And doubt not, sir, but she will well excuse why at this time the doors are made against you. Be ruled by me. Depart in patience, and let us to the Tiger all to dinner. And about evening, come yourself alone to know the reason of this strange restraint. If by strong hand you offer to break in now in the stirring passage of the day, a vulgar comment will be made of it, and that supposed by the common route against your yet ungalled estimation that may with foul intrusion enter in, and dwell upon your grave when you are dead, for slander lives upon succession forever housed where it gets possession.
You have prevailed. I will depart in quiet, and in despite of mirth, mean to be merry. I know a wench of excellent discourse, pretty and witty and wild, yet too gentle. There will we dine. This woman that I mean my wife, but I do protest without desert, hath oftentimes upbraided me withal. To her we will to dinner. Get you home and fetch the chain. By this I know 'tis made. Bring it, I pray you, to the Porpentine, for there's the house. That chain will I bestow, be it for nothing but to spite my wife upon mine hostess there. Good sir, make haste, since mine own doors refuse to entertain me. I'll knock elsewhere and see if they'll disdain me.
I'll meet you at that same place some hour hence.
Do so. This jest shall cost me some expense.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 2. Before the house of Antipholus of Ephesus. Enter Luciana with Antipholus of Syracuse.
And may it be that you have quite forgot a husband's office? Shall Antipholus even in the spring of love thy love springs rot? Shall love in building grow so ruinous? If you did wed my sister for her wealth, then for wealth's sake, use her with more kindness. Or, if you like elsewhere, do it by stealth. Muffle your false love with some show of blindness. Let not my sister read it in your eye. Be not thy tongue thy own shame's orator. Look sweet, speak fair, become disloyalty. Apparel vice like virtue's harbinger. Bear a fair presence though your heart be tainted. Teach sin the carriage of a holy saint. Be secret false. What need she be acquainted? What simple thief brags of his own attaint? 'Tis double wrong to truant with your bed, and let her read it in thy looks at board. Shame hath a bastard fame well managed. Ill deeds doubled with an evil word. Alas, poor women make us but believe, being compact of credit, that you love us. Though others have the arm, show us the sleeve. We in your motion turn, and you may move us. Then, gentle brother, get you in again. Comfort my sister. Cheer her, call her wife. 'Tis holy sport to be a little vain when the sweet breath of flattery conquers strife.
Sweet mistress, what your name is else I know not, nor by what wonder you do hit of mine. Less in your knowledge and your grace you show not than our earth's wonder, more than earth divine. Teach me, dear creature, how to think and speak. Lay open to my earthly gross conceit, smothered in errors, feeble, shallow, weak, the folded meaning of your words' deceit. Oh, against my soul's pure truth, why labour you to make it wander in an unknown field? Are you a god? Would you create me new? Transform me then, and to your power I'll yield. But if that I am I, then well I know your weeping sister is no wife of mine, nor to her bed no homage do I owe. Far more to you do I decline. Oh, train me not, sweet mermaid, with thy note, to drown me in thy sister's flood of tears. Sing, siren, for thyself, and I will dote. Spread o'er the silver waves thy golden hairs, and as a bed I'll take them, and there lie, and in that glorious supposition think he gains by death that hath such means to die. Let love, being light, be drowned if she sink.
What? Are you mad that you do reason so?
Not mad, but mated. How, I do not know.
It is fault that springeth from your eye.
For gazing on your beams, fair sun, being by.
Gaze when you show sight.
As good to wink, sweet love, as look on night.
Why call you me love? Call my sister so.
Thy sister's sister.
That's my sister.
No, it is thyself, mine own self's better part, mine eye's clear eye, my dear heart's dearer heart, my food, my fortune, my sweet hope's aim, my soul earth's heaven, and my heaven's claim.
All this my sister is, or else should be.
Call thyself sister sweet, for I am thee, and thee will I love, and with thee lead my life. Thou hast no husband yet, nor I no wife. Give me thy hand.
Oh, soft, sir. Hold you still. I'll fetch my sister to get her good will.
Why, how now, Dromio? Where runnest thou so fast?
Do you know me, sir? Am I Dromio? Am I your man? Am I myself?
Thou art Dromio, thou art my man, thou art thyself.
No, no, I am an ass. I am a woman's man, and besides myself.
What woman's man, and how besides thyself?
Marry, sir, besides myself, I am due to a woman, one that claims me, one that haunts me, one that will have me.
What claim lays she to thee?
Marry, sir, such a claim as you would lay to your horse, and she would have me as a beast. Not that I, being a beast, she would have me, but that she, being a very beastly creature, lays claim to me.
What is she?
Oh, a very reverent body. Aye, such a one as a man may not speak of without he say, Sir Reverence. I have but lean luck in the match, and yet she is a wondrous fat marriage.
How dost thou mean a fat marriage?
Marry, sir. She's the kitchen wench and all the grease, and I know not what use to put her to but to make a lamp out of her and run from her own light. I warrant her rags and the tallow in them will burn a Poland winter. If she lives till doomsday, she'll burn a week longer than the whole world.
What complexion is she of?
Swart, like my shoe, but her face nothing like so clean kept. For why? She sweats. A man may go o'er his shoes in the grime of it.
That's a fault that water will mend.
No, sir, 'tis ingrained. Noah's flood could not do it.
What's her name?
Nell, sir. But her name and 3/4, that's an L, and 3/4 will not measure her from hip to hip.
Then she bears some breadth.
Oh, no longer from head to foot than from hip to hip. She is spherical. I could find out countries in her.
In what part of her body stands Ireland?
Oh, marry, sir, in her buttocks. I found it out by the bogs.
Where, Scotland?
Oh, I found it by the barrenness hard in the palm of her hand.
Where, France?
Ah, in her forehead, armed and reverted, making war against her heir.
Where, England?
Oh, I looked for the chalky cliffs, but I could find no whiteness in them. But I guess it stood in her chin by the salt room that ran between France and it.
Oh, where, Spain?
Oh, I saw it not, but I felt it hot in her breath.
Where, America, the Indies?
Oh, sir, upon her nose, all o'er embellished with rubies, carbuncles, sapphires, declining their rich aspect to the hot breath of Spain, who sent whole armados of carracks to be ballast at her nose.
Oh, where stood Belgia, the Netherlands?
Oh, sir! I did not look so low. To conclude, this drudge or diviner laid claim to me, called me Dromio, swore I was assured to her, told me what privy marks I had about me, as the mark on my shoulder, the mole on my neck, the great wart on my left arm, that I, amazed, ran from her as a witch. And I think if my breasts had not been made of faith and my heart of steel, she'd have transformed me into a curtal dog and made me turn in the wheel.
Go, hide thee presently, post to the road, and if wind blow any way from shore, I will not harbour in this town tonight.
Oh.
Any bark put forth, come to the mart, where I will walk till thou return. If everyone knows us, and we know none, 'Tis time, I think, to trudge, pack, and be gone.
As from a bear a man would run for life, so fly I from her that would be my wife. Oh.
Oh, there's none but witches do inhabit here, and therefore 'tis high time that I were hence. She that doth call me husband, even my soul doth for a wife abhor. Ah! But her fair sister, possessed with such a gentle sovereign grace, of such enchanting presence and discourse, hath almost made me traitor to myself. But, lest myself be guilty to self-wrong, I'll stop mine ears against the mermaid's song.
Master Antipholus! Master Antipholus! Master Antipholus?
Aye, that's my name.
I know it well, sir. Lo, here's the chain. I thought to have ta'en you at the Porpentine. The chain unfinished made me stay thus long.
What is your will that I should do with this?
What please yourself, sir. I have made it for you.
Made it for me, sir. I bespoke it not.
Not once nor twice, but 20 times you have. Go home with it and please your wife withal. And soon at supper time I'll visit you and then receive my money for the chain.
I pray you, sir, receive the money now, for fear you ne'er see chain nor money more.
You are a merry man, sir. Fare you well.
What should I think of this? I cannot tell. But this I think, there's no man so vain that would refuse so fair an offered chain. Yeah. I see a man here may not needs to live by shifts, when in the streets he meets such golden gifts. I'll to the mart, and there for Dromio stay. If any ship put out, then straight away.
Exit.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is your interval. Please take 10 minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves. Feel free to ask either myself or the crew or the cast any questions that you might have, and we will hang out here with you for 10 minutes as is customary. Members of the cast, obviously feel free to refresh yourselves and get ready for the second half. Otherwise, please do feel to come and join us and answer some questions from our audience. So the time is now 7 minutes past 8 UK time, so we'll be starting again at about 8:17. That's 8:17. Thank you so much, everyone. A fantastic first half, and what a cracking pace as well. We've absolutely shot through that. Brilliant work, everyone. Brilliant. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, yes, audience, once you, obviously we are 10 seconds ahead, but once you hear this, please do feel free to send in your questions. And we've got a couple of starters for 10 here. I've got one here for one of our Dromios, and even I have difficulty telling them apart. I think it... So we have one Dromio. Can we have our other Dromio? Roanna, are you there? I think it might be for Roanna, actually, this one. The question is, will the unicorn be back?
Ooh, maybe.
You'll have to tune in to find out. Wonderful, wonderful. We've also got a question here. Do you think the dating is right? Personally, always felt to me like Taming of the Shrew was a more mature comedy. Well, I suppose in a way it's more mature in that the characters are more mature. And so I suppose the themes, therefore, and the things that he's exploring are more mature. I think this one, as far as I'm aware, is pretty accurately dated. And I believe that the whole point of this was, and I'm sure there are people, I'm thinking of you, Joe Stevenson, I know you're watching, that can correct this if I'm wrong. But I believe this was around the time of the kind of Upstart Crow criticisms. And this was Shakespeare proving that he could write what a quote-unquote proper play in the kind of typical Roman convention. And so this play adheres strictly to those conventions. But being Shakespeare, obviously he added another set of twins, which was a great innovation, and kind of doubled down on the complexity of it as a result, mining a lot more comedy. And then he also obviously made it a knockabout farce and an absurd comedy full of sex jokes, which feels appropriately Shakespearean, the fact that he would say, yes, of course I can write a proper play. I'm going to write it about stupid stuff. And I absolutely love that attitude. That's how I interpret it anyway, but I'd be interested to hear other people's feelings about what they think about this play in terms of Shakespeare's evolution as a writer. It's a very interesting starter question. We've got a question for Robbie here, if you're around, Robbie. Hi, Robbie. Someone's asked when you were rehearsing this play, so about 2 hours ago. What did you think about the character that you were going to perform?
Oh, that's a good question. We went through a few little phases on it. The initial thing was kind of Basil Faulty. Faulty and Manuel was the jumping off point because there's all that lovely slapstick already in there, and the relationship's just kind of there. But as we were working on it, I started noticing the number of times he's terrified of magic and witches and mermaids, and he's super superstitious. So I kind of latched onto that, and I thought, oh, maybe he's not quite as bravado filled and self-assured as that. Maybe he's deeply, deeply terrified whenever he's left alone. And I've had a lot of fun with that. Does that answer your question? I don't know. There we go.
We'll check back in with them in the chat and find out, but it sounded good to me, mate. It sounded good to me. One here, I guess, for the crew. Is it getting easier as the weeks go on? It's a difficult question to answer that one, because obviously this play has been an absolute delight because Shakespeare's taken it right back to basics. It's all about the performances. Gone are the kind of massive history plays with their effusion of set pieces and kind of technical feats that he was using, that kind of blockbuster mechanism. And here we're all about kind of plot and character and interaction and all that kind of stuff. So in that way, it's been easier. Obviously, it's made easier by having incredible casts, and the wonderful thing is that we've had this incredible cast that's been up for getting involved in this show that have knocked it absolutely out of the park. So for that reason, it's also felt easy. For another reason, we had Ben Crystal and Scott Ellis chipping in rehearsals, so that made it feel easier too. So for a few reasons, this one has been an easy one. However, we were also doing simultaneously Shakespeare's Star Wars at the same time, which was the most technically ambitious, the most densely packed with all of that kind of technical wizardry. And so for that reason, it hasn't necessarily felt it, even though it might have been. So a little bit of a I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm very tired. A difficult one to answer, but yes, there's been ease and there's also been difficulty, but in both of those, there's been huge reward, and we're having a wonderful time certainly doing it. Got a couple more coming through here. How important was it to cast similar looking actors as the twins, or were you tempted to dial up the madness by having the actors look very different? Hopefully that question answers itself in terms of which direction we went in. I think we have some astonishingly similar casting in this play, and these guys are doing a marvellous job of kind of set dressing themselves in a way to look as similar as possible. We definitely decided that we wanted to go with that. We've had long conversations about how much should we help the audience stay a step of the head of the actors in terms of knowing who is who and which one is which, and obviously different looking actors can help with that. We even talked about with the exchange of money, should we try and kind of label that so that the audience could see the error being made, but the actors kind of not notice it, or the characters not notice it. And we felt it was better for everyone to be as confused as possible, because that seems to be the dramatic intent of this play. So we just thought, let's go for it. Let's absolutely go for it.
Can I point out an interesting little factoid that we learned in rehearsals, is that we have more than 2 sets of twins in this cast, I believe.
Yes. I think that's true, isn't it? Like people in the cast actually have twins, yeah.
Yes, Jed, you are.
Brother, I think he's watching right now. Hi, Micah.
Hi, please don't take up acting, because I'll be out of a job.
What does he do?
He's a pediatrician. You're good. Don't worry.
Wonderful, wonderful. And doing incredibly important work as well. So good on him. Good on him. Someone has asked, is there a full Star Wars play coming? Can't really answer that, but you just never know. Will you be continuing once the various lockdowns are lifted? Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you've seen, but Cameron McIntosh has talked about the fact that theatres are probably going to be closed until at least the end of the year. From other sources, I've heard things like summer next year. So I think it's going to be a while until people feel comfortable getting into safe theatrical spaces again. And more than that, obviously, we are creating this in a way that's free to view, that's free to access, that's here forever. I'm not sure that there is another version of of the complete works out there that is as readily accessible as this one will be by the time we're finished. And so for those reasons, we are fully committed to keeping it going. However, we can't do that without your support. And for that reason, it would be wonderful if you could go to the link in the description and sign up to our Patreon page, because all of the money that you give is divided equally by those actors that choose to opt into our hardship fund, which you guys wonderfully sponsor. So thank you so much for that. And Sarah, I believe we might have some new patrons to thank this week.
We do, yes. So I've got a few names to shout out. Thank you, first of all, again, to all of our existing patrons. You are all absolutely amazing, and we are so grateful for your kind donations. Names I'm going to read out this week. So here we go. We've got Catherine H, Mary Jane B, Jeremy M, Thomasin R, Alistair D, Carol D, Catherine B, Robina, I hope I'm saying your name right, B, Eleanor, Darren S, Movie Shoes, Christine McC, Clive C, Wiwa Twa, I hope I'm saying your name right, Douglas L, John W, Karen G, Charlotte R, Mitch A, and Angela L.
Wow, that is a lot of new patrons. Thank you so much, everybody, for signing up. We really appreciate your support. And remember, you can give as little as £1.05 a month, which equates to about 20 pence a play. So please don't feel like it's out of your price range, if you like. I've got a question here actually for Kelly. And this is a good one. Can we talk about, I guess it's not really a question so much as an invitation, but can we talk about Luciana's feelings when Antipholus of Syracuse tells her he loves her? And as a follow-up, what do you think Adriana and Antipholus of Ephesus' marriage is like? We're getting right into the depth.
I'm just getting right in there, guys. On the first question, I think that Luciana is very torn because, well, the one thing, I think she does want to fall in love. She wants to have her happy ending. Maybe not so much the marriage, but then suddenly Antipholus kind of begins to woo her, and she's so torn because, like, this is my sister's husband, but holy sugar, he's charming. So yeah, it's a very incredibly awkward situation.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And well saved. I'd like to ask our actors to go repair to the tiring house now, please, because we're about to start our second half. Please remember, if you haven't done already, to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, and to consider making a donation to our Patreon fund. Everything you give is hugely appreciated. Thank you so much. So now we are about to start our second half, so please remember to capture your reactions to this play using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline. And without further ado, here we go with the second half of Comedy of Errors. Act 4, Scene 1, a public place. Enter second merchant, Angelo the goldsmith, and an officer.
You know, since Pentecost, the sum is due. And since I have not much importuned you, nor now had I not, but that I am bound to Persia and want guilders for my voyage. Therefore, make present satisfaction, or I'll attach you by this officer.
Even just the sum that I do owe to you is growing to me by Antipholus, and in the instant that I met with you, he had of me a chain. At 5 o'clock I shall receive the money for the same. Pleaseth you walk with me down to his house. I will discharge my bond, and thank you too.
That labour may you save, see where he comes.
While I go to the goldsmith's house, go thou and buy a rope's end. That will I bestow among my wife and her confederates for locking me out of my doors by day. But soft, I see the goldsmith. Get thee gone, buy thou a rope and bring it home to me.
I buy £1,000 a year. I buy a rope.
Man is well holp up that trusts to you. I promised your presence and the chain, but neither chain nor goldsmith came to me. Like you thought our love would last too long if it were chained together and therefore came not.
Saving your merry humour, here's the note how much your chain weighs to the utmost carat, the fineness of the gold, and chargeful fashion, which doth amount to 3 odd ducats more than I do stand debted to this gentleman. I pray you see him presently discharged, for he is bound to sea and stays but for it.
I am not furnished with the present money. Besides, I have some business in the town. Good senior, take the stranger to my house, and with you take the chain, and bid my wife disperse the sum on the receipt thereof. Perchance I will be there as soon as you.
Then you will bring the chain to her yourself?
No, bear it with you, lest I come not time enough.
Well, sir, I will. Have you the chain about you?
And if I have not, sir, I hope you have, or else you may return without your money.
Nay, come, I pray you, sir, give me the chain. Both wind and tide stays for this gentleman, and I to blame have held him here too long.
Good Lord, you use this dalliance to excuse your breach of promise to the Porpentine. I should have chid you for not bringing it, but like a shrew, you first begin to brawl.
The hour steals on. I pray you, sir, dispatch.
You hear how he importunes me? The chain.
Why, give it to my wife and fetch your money.
Come, you know I gave it you even now. Either send the chain or send me by some token.
I know you run this humor out of breath. Come, where's the chain? I pray you, let me see it.
My business cannot brook this dalliance. Come, sir, say will you answer me a no. If not, I'll leave him to the officer.
I answer you. Why should I answer you?
The money that you owe me for the chain.
I owe you none till I receive the chain.
You know, I gave it you half an hour since.
You wrong me. You gave me none, and you wrong me much to say so.
You wrong me more, sir, in denying it. Consider how it stands upon my credit.
Well, officer, arrest him at my suit.
I do. Exalt you in the Duke's name to obey me.
This touches me in reputation. I either consent to pay this sum for me, or I attach you by this officer.
Consent to pay thee that I never had? Oh, arrest me, foolish fellow, if thou darest.
Here is thy fee. Arrest him, officer. I would not spare my brother in this case if he should scorn me so apparently.
I do arrest you, sir. You hear the suit?
I do obey thee till I give thee bail. But, sirrah, you shall buy this sport as dear as all the metal in your shop will answer.
Sir, I shall have law in Ephesus. To your notorious shame, I doubt it not.
Master, there's a bark of epidemium that stays but till her owner comes aboard, and then, sir, she bears away. Our fraughtage, sir, I have conveyed aboard, and I have brought the oil, the balsamum, and the aquavitae. The ship is in her trim, the merry wind blows fair from land. They stay for naught at all but for their owner, master, and yourself.
How now, a madman? Why, thou peevish sheep, what ship of epidemium stays for me?
Ship you sent me to hire waftage.
Thou drunken slave, I sent thee for a rope, and told thee to what purpose and what end.
You sent me for a rope's end as soon. You sent me to the bay, sir, for a bark.
I will debate this matter at more leisure, and teach your ears to list me with more heed. To Adriana, villain, hie thee straight. Give her this key and tell her, in the desk that's covered o'er with Turkish tapestry, there is a purse of ducats.
Right.
Let her send it. Tell her I am arrested in the street, and that shall bail me. Hie thee, slave. Begone! On, officer, to prison, till it come.
To Adriana? That is where we dined, where Dowsabel did claim me for her husband. Oh, she is too big, I hope, for me to compass. Thither I must, although against my will, for servants must their masters' minds fulfill.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 2. A room in the house of Antipholus of Ephesus. Enter Adriana and Luciana.
Oh, Luciana, did he tempt thee so? Mightst thou perceive austerely in his eye that he did plead in earnest? Yea or no? Looked he red, or pale, or sad, or merrily? What observation madest thou in this case of his heart's meteors tilting in his face?
First, he denied you had in him no right.
He meant he did me none, the more my spite.
Then swore he that he was a stranger here.
All and true he swore, though yet forsworn he were.
Then pleaded I for you.
And what said he?
That love I begged for you, he begged of me.
With what persuasion did he tempt thy love?
With words that in an honest suit might move. First he did praise my beauty, then my speech.
Did speak him fair?
Have patience, I beseech.
I cannot, nor will not hold me still. My tongue, though not my heart, shall have his will. He is deformed, crooked, old, and sere, ill-faced, worse-bodied, shapeless everywhere, vicious, ungentle, foolish, blunt, unkind, stigmatic in making, worse in mind.
Who would be jealous then of such a one? No evil lust is wailed when it is gone.
But I think him better than I say, and yet would hear in others' eyes were worse. Of Maness the lapwing cries, my heart prays for him, though my tongue do curse.
Here, go, the desk, the purse, sweat now, make
How hast thou lost thy breath?
By running fast.
Where is thy master, Dromio? Is he well?
No, he's in a Tartar limbo worse than hell. A devil in an everlasting garment hath him, one whose hard heart is buttoned up with steel, a fiend, a fairy, pitiless and rough, a wolf, nay worse, a fellow all in buff. A back fiend, a shoulder clapper, one that countermands the passages of alleys, creeks, and narrow lands, a hound that runs counter and yet draws dry foot well, the one that before judgment carries poor souls to hell.
Why, man, what is the matter?
Well, I do not know the matter. He is arrested on the case.
What? Is he arrested? Tell me at whose suit?
I know not at whose suit he is arrested, well, but he's in a suit of buff which arrested him, that I can tell. Will you send him Mistress Redemption money in his desk?
Go, fetch it, sister. This I wonder at, that he unknown to me should be in debt. Tell me, was he arrested on a band?
No, not on a band, but on a stronger thing, a chain, a chain. Do you not hear it ring?
What, the chain?
No, the bell. 'Tis time that I were gone. 'Twas 2 ere I left him, and now the clock strikes 1. Oh.
The hour's come back. That I never did hear.
Oh, yes, if any hour meet a sergeant, he turns back for very fear.
As if time were in debt. How fondly dost thou reason?
Time is a very bankrupt, and owes more than he's worth to season. Nay, he's a thief too. Have you not heard men say that time comes stealing on by night and day? If he be in debt and theft, and a sergeant in the way, hath he not reason to turn back an hour in the day?
Go, Dromio. There's the money. Bear it straight, and bring thy master home immediately. Come, sister. I am pressed down with conceit. Conceit, my comfort and my injury.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3, a public place. Enter Antipholus of Syracuse.
Good day unto thee, sir. Verily, we shall quaff mead. Nay, thou art breathtaking. There's not a man I meet but doth salute me, as if I were their well-acquainted friend. And everyone doth call me by my name. Some tender money to me, some invite me, some other give thanks for kindnesses, some offer me commodities to buy. Even now, a tailor called me in his shop and showed me silks that he had bought for me. Oh, and therewithal took measurement of my body. Sure these are but imaginary wiles, and Lapland sorcerers inhabit here.
Oh, master, here's the gold you sent me for. What? Have you got the picture of old Adam, new apparelled?
What gold is this? What Adam dost thou mean?
Not that Adam that kept the paradise, but that Adam that keeps the prison. He that goes in the calf skin that was killed for the prodigal. He that came behind you, sir, like an evil angel and bid you forsake your liberty.
I understand thee not.
No, why, 'tis a plain case. He that went like a bass viol in a case of leather. The man, sir, that when gentlemen are tired, gives them a sob and rests them. He, sir, that takes pity on decayed men and gives them suits of durance. He that sets up his rest to do more exploits with his mace than a Morris pike.
What, thou mean'st an officer?
Aye, sir, the sergeant of the band. He that brings any man to answer it that breaks his band. One that thinks a man always going to bed and says, God give ye good rest.
Well, sir, there rest in your foolery. Is there any ships put forth tonight? May we be gone?
Sir, I brought you word an hour since that the bark expedition put forth tonight, and then you were hindered by the sergeant to tarry for the hoy delay. Here are the angels that I sent for to deliver you.
Oh, the fellow is distract, and so am I. And here we wander in illusions. Some blessed power deliver us from hence.
Well met, Master Antipholus. I see, sir, you have found the goldsmith now. Is that the chain you promised me today?
Satan! Avoid! I charge thee, tempt me not.
Master, is this Mistress Satan?
It is the devil.
Nay, she's worse. She is the devil's dam, and here she comes in the habit of a light wench, and thereof comes that wench you say, God damn me. That's as much as to say, God make me a light wench. It is written, they appear to men like angels of light. Light is an effect of fire, and fire will burn. Ergo, light wenches will burn. Come not nearer.
Your man and you are marvellous merry, sir. Will you go with me? We'll mend our dinner here.
Master, if you do expect spoon meat or bespeak a long spoon.
Why, Dromio?
Marry, ye must have a long spoon that must eat with the devil.
Oh, avoid then, fiend. What tell'st thou me of supping? Thou art, as you all are, a sorceress. I conjure thee to leave me and be gone.
Give me the ring of mine you had at dinner, or for my diamond the chain you promised, and I'll be gone, sir, and not trouble you.
Some devils ask but the parings of one's nail, a rush, a hair, a drop of blood, a pin, a nut, a cherry stone, but she, more covetous, would have a chain. Master, be wise. If you give it her, the devil will shake her chain and fright us for it.
I pray you, sir, my ring, or else the chain. I hope you do not mean to cheat me so.
Avaunt, thou witch! Come, Dromio, let us go.
Yeah, fly pride, says the peacock mistress that you know.
Now, out of doubt, Antipholus is mad, else would he never so demean himself. A ring he hath of mine worth 40 ducats, and for the same he promised me a chain. Both one and other he denies me now. The reason that I gather he is mad, besides this present instance of his rage, is a mad tale he told me today at dinner of his own doors being shut against his entrance, but like his wife, acquainted with his fits, on purpose shut the doors against his way. My way now is to hie home to his house and tell his wife that, being lunatic, he rushed into my house and took perforce my ring away. This course I fittest choose, for 40 ducats is too much to lose.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 4. A street. Enter Antipholus of Ephesus with the officer.
Fear me not, man, I will not break away. I'll give thee, ere I leave thee, so much money to warrant thee as I am rested for. My wife is in a wayward mood today, and will not lightly trust the messenger that I should be attached in Ephesus. I tell you, 'twill sound harshly in her ears. Here comes my man. I think he brings the money. How now, sir? Have you what I sent you for?
Here's that. I warrant you will pay them all.
But where's the money?
Why, sir, I gave the money for the rope.
500 ducats, villain, for a rope?
I'll serve you, sir, 500 at that rate.
To what end did I bid thee hie thee home?
To a rope's end, sir, and to that end I am returned.
And to that end, sir, I will welcome you.
Good sir, be patient.
I made 'tis for me to be patient. I am in adversity.
Good, now hold thy tongue.
Nay, rather persuade him hold his hands.
You whoreson, senseless villain.
I were senseless, sir, that I might not feel your blows.
Art sensible in nothing but blows, and so's an ass.
I am an ass indeed. You may prove it by my long ears. I have served him from the hour of my nativity to this instant, and have nothing at his hands for my service but blows. When I am cold, he heats me with beating. When I am warm, he cools me with beating. I am waked with it when I sleep, raised with it when I sit, driven out of doors with it when I go home, welcomed home with it when I return. Nay, I bear it on my shoulders as a beggar wont her brat, and I think when he hath lamed me, I shall beg with it from door to door.
Come, go along. My wife is coming yonder.
Oh, mistress, respect your end, or rather the prophecy like a parrot, beware the rope's end.
Wilt thou still talk?
How say you now? Is your husband not mad?
His incivility confirms no less. Good Dr. Pinch, you are a conjurer. Establish him in his true sense again, and I will please you what you will demand.
Alas, how fiery and how sharp he looks.
Mark how he trembles in his ecstasy.
I cannot hear thou, strange sir.
Oh, I was on the spiritual plane. Give me your hand and let me feel your pulse.
There is my hand, and let it feel your ear.
I charge thee, Satan, housed within this man, to yield to my holy prayers, and to thy state of darkness hide these straits. I conjure thee by all the saints in heaven.
Doting wizard, peace, I am not mad.
Oh, that thou wert not, poor distressed soul.
You minion, you, are these your customers? Did this companion with the saffron face revel and feasted at my house today, whilst upon me the guilty doors were shut, and I denied to enter in my house?
Oh, husband, God doth know you dined at home, where you would have remained until this time, free from these slanders and this open shame.
Dined at home? Thou villain, what sayst thou?
Sir, sooth to say, you did not dine at home.
Were not my doors locked up and I shut out?
Purdy, your doors were locked and you shut out.
And did not she herself revile me there?
Sans fable, she did.
Did not her kitchen maid rail, taunt, and scorn me?
Search she did, the kitchen vestal scorned you.
And did not I in rage depart from thence?
In verity you did. My bones bears witness that since have felt the vigour of this rage.
Is't good to soothe him in these contraries?
Oh, it is no shame the fellow finds his vein, and yielding to him humours his frenzy well.
Thou hast suborned the goldsmith to arrest me.
Alas, I sent you money to redeem you by Dromio here, who came in haste for it.
Money by me, heart and good you will might, but surely, master, not a rag of money.
Went'st not thou to her for a purse of ducats?
He came to me, and I delivered it.
And I am witness with her that she did.
God and the rope maker bear me witness that I was sent for nothing but a rope.
Stress, both man and master is possessed. I know it by their pale and deadly looks. They must be bound and laid in some dark room.
Say, wherefore didst thou lock me forth today? And why dost thou deny the bag of gold?
I did not, gentle husband, lock thee forth.
And, gentle master, I received no gold, but I confess, sir, that we were locked out.
Dissembling villain, thou speakest false in both.
Dissembling harlot, thou art false in all, and art confederate with a damned pack to make a loathsome, abject scorn of me. But with these nails, I'll pluck out these false eyes that would behold in me this shameful sport.
Find him! Find him!
No, more company! The fiend is strong within him!
Ay me, poor man, how pale and wan he looks.
Wilt thou murder me, thou jailer? No, thou! I am thy prisoner. Wilt thou suffer to make a rescue?
Masters, let him go. He is my prisoner, and you shall not have him.
Ooh, go bind this man, for he is frantic too.
What wilt thou do, thou peevish officer? Hast thou delight to see a wretched man do outrage and displeasure to himself?
He is my prisoner. If I let him go, the debt he owes will be required of me.
I will charge there ere I go with thee. Bear me forth unto his creditor, and knowing how the debt grows, I will pay it. Good Master Doctor, see him safe conveyed to my home, to my house. Oh, most unhappy day.
Oh, most unhappy strumpet!
Master, I am here entered in bond for you.
Happy villain, wherefore dost thou mad me?
Will you be bound for nothing? Be mad, good master, cry, the devil!
God help poor souls, how idly do they talk.
Go, bear him hence. Sister, go you with me. Say, now, at whose suit was he arrested at?
One Angelo, a goldsmith. Do you know him?
I know the man. What is the sum he owes?
200 ducats.
Say, how grows it due?
Due for a chain your husband had of him.
He did bespeak a chain for me, but had it not.
When as your husband, all in a rage today, came to my house and took away my ring, the ring that I saw upon his finger now, straight after did I meet him with a chain.
It may be so, but I did never see it. Come, jailer, bring me where the goldsmith is. I long to know the truth hereof at large.
God, for thy mercy, they are loose again.
Come with naked swords. Let's call for more help to have them bound again.
Away, they'll kill us.
I see these witches are afraid of swords.
She that would be your wife now ran from you.
Yeah. Come to the centaur. Fetch our stuff from thence. I long that we were safe and sound abroad.
Faith, stay here this night. They surely will do us no harm. You saw they speak us fair. Give us gold. Methinks they are such a gentle nation that but for the mountain of mad flesh that claims marriage of me, I could find it in my heart to stay here and turn witch.
Well, I will not stay in this town for tonight for all the town. Therefore, away to get our stuff abroad. Oh.
Act 5, Scene 1. A street before an abbey. Enter the second merchant and Angelo the goldsmith.
I am sorry, sir, that I have hindered you, but I protest. He had the chain of me, though most dishonestly he doth deny it.
How is the man esteemed here in the city?
Of very reverent reputation, sir, of credit infinite, highly beloved, second to none that lives here in the city. His word might bear my wealth at any time.
Speak softly. Yonder, as I think he walks.
'Tis so. And that self-chain about his neck, which he forswore most monstrously to have. Good sir, draw near to me. I'll speak to him. Signor Antipholus, I wonder much that you would put me to this shame and trouble, and not without some scandal to yourself, with circumstance and oath so to deny this chain which you now wear so openly. Beside the charge, the shame, imprisonment, you have done wrong to this, my honest friend, who but for staying on our controversy had hoisted sail and put to sea today. This chain you had of me, can you deny it?
I think I had. I never did deny it.
Yes, that you did, sir, and forswore it too.
Who heard me to deny it or forswear it?
These ears of mine thou knowest did hear thee. Fie on thee, wretch! 'Tis pity that thou livest to walk where any honest men may resort.
Thou art a villain to impeach me thus. I'll prove mine honour and mine honesty against thee presently, if thou darest stand.
Oh, I dare, and do defy thee for a villain.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Hold at him not, for God's sake, he is mad. Some, get within him, take the sword away, bind Dromio too, and bear them to my house.
Run, master! Run, for God's sake! Take a house! Ah! This is some priory. In, or we are spoiled.
Be quiet, people! Wherefore throng you hither?
To fetch my poor distracted husband hence. Let us come in, that we may bind him fast and bear him home for his recovery.
I knew he was not in his perfect wits.
I am sorry now that I did draw on him.
How long hath this possession held the man?
This week he hath been heavy, sour, sad, and much different to the man he was. But till this afternoon his passion ne'er brake into extremity of rage.
Hath he not lost much wealth by rack of sea? Buried some dear friend? Hath not else his eyes strayed his affection in unlawful love? A sin prevailing much in youthful men who give their eyes the liberty of gazing. Which of these sorrows is he subject to?
To none of these, except the last, namely some love that drew him oft from home.
You should for that have reprehended him.
Why, so I did.
Aye, but not rough enough.
As roughly as my modesty would let me.
Haply in private.
And in assemblies too.
Aye, but not enough.
It was the copy of our conference. In bed he slept not for my urging it. At board he fed not for my urging it. Alone it was the subject of my theme. In company I often glanced it. Still did I tell him it was vile and bad.
And thereof came it that the man was mad. The venom clamours of a jealous woman poisons more deadly than a mad dog's tooth. It seems his sleeps were hindered by thy railing, and thereof comes it that his head is light. Thou sayest his meat was sauced with thy upbraidings. Unquiet meals make ill digestions, thereof the raging fire of fever bred. And what's a fever but a fit of madness? Thou sayest his sports were hindered by thy brawls. Sweet recreation barred. What doth ensue but moody and dull melancholy, kinsman to grim and comfortless despair, and at her heels a huge infectious troop of pale distemperatures and foes to life, in food, in sport, and life-preserving rest to be disturbed? Would mad or man or beast? The consequence is then, thy jealous fits hath scarred thy husband from the use of wits.
She never reprehended him but mildly, when he demeaned himself rough, rude, and wildly. Why bear you these rebukes, and answer not?
She did betray me to my own reproof. Good people, enter and lay hold on him.
No, not a creature enters in my house.
Then let your servants bring my husband forth.
Neither. He took this place for sanctuary, and it shall privilege him from your hands till I have brought him to his wits again, or lose my labor in assaying it.
I will attend my husband, be his nurse, diet his sickness, for it is my office, and I will have no attorney but myself, and therefore let me have him home with me.
Be patient, for I will not let him stir till I have used the approved means I have, with wholesome syrups, drugs, and holy prayers, to make of him a formal man again. It is a branch and parcel of mine oath, a charitable duty of my order. Therefore depart, and let him here with me.
I will not hence, and leave my husband here. And ill it doth beseem your holiness to separate the husband and the wife.
Be quiet, and depart. Thou shalt not have him.
Complain unto the Duke of this indignity.
Come, go. I will fall prostrate at his feet and never rise until my tears and prayers have won his grace to come in person hither and take perforce my husband from the abbess.
By this I think the dial points at 5. Anon I'm sure the Duke himself in person comes this way to the melancholy vale, the place of death and sorry execution, beyond the ditches of the abbey here.
Upon what cause?
To see a reverend Syracusian merchant who put unluckily into this bay, against the laws and statutes of this town, beheaded publicly for his offense.
See where they come, we will behold his death.
Kneel to the Duke before he passed the abbey.
Yet, once again, proclaim it publicly. If any friend will pay the sum for him, he shall not die, so much we tender him.
Justice, most sacred Duke, against the abbess.
She is a virtuous and a reverend lady. It cannot be that she hath done me wrong.
May it please your grace. Antipholus, my husband, who I made lord of me and all I had at your important letters, this ill day a most outrageous fit of madness took him, that desperately he hurried through the street, with him his bondmen all as mad as he, doing displeasure to the citizens by rushing in their houses, bearing thence rings, jewels, anything his rage did like. Once I did get him bound and sent him home, whilst to take order for the wrongs I went, that there and hey his fury had committed. Anon, I know not by what strong escape he broke from those that had guard of him, and with his mad attendant and him himself, each one with ireful passion, with drawn swords, met us again, and madly bent on us, chased us away, till raising of more aid, we came to bind them. Then they fled into this abbey, whither we pursued them, and here the abbess shuts the gate on us, and will not suffer us to fetch him out, nor send him forth that we may bear him hence. Therefore, most gracious Duke, with thy command, let him be brought forth and borne hence for help.
Long since thy husband served me in my wars, and I to thee engaged a prince's word, when thou didst make him master of thy bed, to do him all the grace and good I could. Go, some of you, knock at the abbey gate, and bid the lady abbess come to me. I will determine this before I stir.
Oh, mistress, shift and save yourself. My master and his man have both broke loose, beaten the maid to row, and bound the doctor, whose beard they have singed off with brands of fire. And ever as it blazed, they threw on him great pails of puddled mire to quench the hair. My master preaches patience to him, and the while his man with scissors nicks him like a fool. And sure, unless you send some present help between them, they will kill the conjurer.
Peace, fool. Thy master and his man are here, and that is false thou dost report to us.
But, mistress, upon my life, I tell you true. I have not breathed almost since I did see it. He cries for you and vows, if he can take you, to scorch your face and to disfigure you. Hark, I hear him, mistress. Fly, be gone.
Come stand by me, fear nothing. Guard with halberds.
Why, me, it is my husband. Witness you that he is borne about invisible. Even now we house him in the abbey here, and now he's there, past thought of human reason.
Justice! Oh, most gracious Duke! Oh, grant me justice, even for the service that long since I did thee, when I bestrid thee in the wars, and took deep scars to save thy life, even for the blood that then I lost for thee. Now, grant me justice.
Unless the fear of death doth make me dote, I see my son Antipholus and Dromio.
Justice, sweet prince, against that woman there, she whom thou gavest to me to be my wife, that hath abused and dishonored me, even in the strength and height of injury beyond imagination, is the wrong that she this day hath shameless thrown on me.
Discover how, and thou shalt find me just.
This day, great Duke, she shut the doors upon me while she with harlots feasted in my house.
A grievous fault. Say, woman, Didst thou so?
Oh, my good lord, myself, he, and my sister today did dine together. So before my soul, as this is false, he burdens me withal.
Ne'er may I look on day nor sleep on night, but she tells to your highness simple truth.
Oh, perjured woman, they are both forsworn. In this the madman justly chargeth them.
My liege, I am advised what I say, neither disturbed with effect of wine, nor heady rash provoked with raging ire, albeit my wrongs might make one wiser mad. This woman locked me out this day from dinner. That goldsmith there, were he not packed with her, could witness it. For he was with me then, who parted with me to go fetch a chain, promising to bring it to the Porpentine, where Balthazar and I did dine together. Our dinner done, and he not coming thither, I went to seek him. In the street I met him, and in his company that gentleman. There did this perjured goldsmith swear me down that I this day of him received the chain, which God he knows I saw not, for the which he did arrest me with the officer. I did obey, and sent my peasant home for certain ducats. He with none returned. Then fairly, I bespoke the officer to go in person with me to my house. By the way, we met my wife, her sister, and a rabble more of vile confederates. And along with them, they brought one Pinch, a hungry, lean-faced villain, a mere anatomy, a mountebank, a threadbare juggler, and a fortune-teller, a needy, hollow-eyed, sharp-looking wretch, a living dead man. This pernicious slave, forsooth, took on him as a conjurer, and gazing in mine eyes, feeling my pulse, and with no face, as 'twere, outfacing me, cries out, I was possessed. Then altogether they fell on me, bound me, bore me thence, and in a dark and dankish vault at home there left me and my man both bound together, till gnawing with my teeth my bounds in sunder, I gained my freedom and immediately ran hither to your grace, whom I beseech to give me ample satisfaction for these deep shames and great indignities.
My lord, in truth, thus far I witnessed with him that he dined not at home, but was locked out.
But had he such a chain of thee, or no?
He had, my lord, and when he ran in here, these people saw the chain about his neck.
Besides, I will be sworn, these ears of mine heard you confess you had the chain of him, and after you first forswore it on the mart, and therefore I drew my sword on you, and then you fled into this abbey here, from whence I think you are come by miracle.
I never came within these walls, nor ever didst thou draw thy sword on me. I never saw the chain, so help me heaven. And this is false you burden me withal.
Why, this is an intricate impeach, is this. I think you all have drunk of Circe's cup. Here you housed him. Here he would have been. If he were mad, he would not plead so coldly. You say he dined at home. The goldsmith here denies that saying. Sarah, what say you?
Sir, he dined with her there at the Porpentine.
He did, and from my finger snatched that ring.
It's true, my liege. This ring I had of her.
Sawest thou him enter at the abbey here?
As sure, my liege, as I do see your grace.
Why, this is strange. Go call the abbess hither. I think you are all mated or stark mad.
Most mighty Duke, vouchsafe me, speak a word. Haply I see a friend will save my life, and pay the sum that may deliver me.
Speak freely, Syracusian, what thou wilt.
Is not your name, sir, called Antipholus? And this is not your bondman, Dromio?
Within this hour I was his bondman, sir, but he, I thank him, gnawed in two my cords. Now are my Dromio and his man unbound.
I'm sure you both of you remember me.
Ourselves we do remember, sir, by you, for lately we were bound as you are now. You are not Pinch's patient, are you, sir?
Why look you so strange on me? You know me well.
Never saw you in my life till now.
Oh! Grief hath changed me since you saw me last, and careful hours with time's deformed hand have written strange defeatures in my face. But tell me yet, dost thou not know my voice?
Either.
Dromio, not thou?
No, trust me, sir, nor I.
I'm sure thou dost.
Aye, sir, but I am sure I do not. And whatsoever a man denies, you are now bound to believe him.
Not know my voice! Oh! Time's extremity hast thou so cracked and splitted my poor tongue. In 7 short years that here my only son knows not my feeble key of untuned cares. Though now this grained face of mine be hid in sap-consuming winter's drizzled snow, and all the conduits of my blood froze up, yet hath my night of life some memory. My wasting lamp some fading glimmer left, my dull, deaf ears a little used to hear all these old witnesses I cannot err. Tell me, thou art my son Antipholus.
I never saw my father in my life.
But 7 years since in Syracuse, boy. Thou knowst we parted, but perhaps my son thou shamest to acknowledge me in misery.
The Duke and all that know me in the city can witness with me that it is not so. I ne'er saw Syracuse in all my life.
I tell thee, Syracusian, 20 years have I been patron to Antipholus, during which time he ne'er saw Syracuse. I see thy age and dangers make thee dote.
Most mighty Duke, behold a man much wronged.
I see 2 husbands. All mine eyes deceive me.
One of these men is a genius of the other, and so of these. Which is the natural man, and which is the spirit? Who deciphers them?
I, Sir Dromio, command him away.
I, Sir Dromio, pray let me stay.
Aegeon, art thou not? Or else his ghost.
Oh, my old master, who hath bound him here?
Whoever bound him, I will loose his bonds and gain a husband by his liberty. Speak, old Egeon, if thou be'st the man that hadst a wife once called Aemilia, that bore thee at a burden 2 fair sons. Oh, if thou be'st the same Aegeon, speak, and speak unto the same Aemilia.
If I dream not, thou art Aemilia. If thou art she, tell me, where is that son that floated with thee on that fatal raft?
By men of Epidemium, he and I, and the twin Dromio, all were taken up. But by and by, rude fishermen of Corinth by force took Dromio and my son from them, and me they left with those of Epidemium. What then became of them, I cannot tell. I to this fortune that you see me in.
Why, here begins his morning story right. These 2 Antipholuses, these 2 so like, and these 2 Dromios, one in semblance. Besides her urging of her rackecy, these are the parents to these children which accidentally are met together. Antipholus, thou camest from Corinth first?
No, sir, not I. I came from Syracuse.
Stand apart, I know not which is which.
I came from Corinth, my most gracious lord.
And I with him.
Brought to this town by that most famous warrior, Duke Menaphon, your most renowned uncle.
Which of you 2 did dine with me today?
I, gentle mistress.
And you are not my husband?
No, I say nay to that.
And so do I, yet she did call me so. And this fair gentlewoman, her sister here, did call me brother. What I told you then, I hope I shall have leisure to make good, if this be not a dream I see and hear.
That is the chain, sir, which you had of me.
I think it be, sir. I deny it not.
And You, sir, for this chain arrested me?
I think I did, sir. I deny it not.
I sent you money, sir, to be your bail, but by Dromio, but I think he bought it not.
No, none by me.
This purse of ducats I received from you, and Dromio, my man, did bring them me. I see we still did meet each other's man, and I was ta'en for him, and he for me, and thereupon these errors are arose.
These ducats pawn I for my father here.
It shall not need. Thy father hath his life.
Sir, I must have that diamond from you.
Oh. There, take it. And much thanks for my good cheer.
Renowned Duke, vouchsafe to take the pains to go with us into the abbey here, and here at large discoursed all our fortunes, and all that are assembled in this place, that by this sympathized one day's error have suffered wrong. Go keep us company, and we shall make full satisfaction. 33 years have I but gone in travail of you, my sons, until this present hour, my heavy burden ne'er delivered. The Duke, my husband, and my children both, and you, the calendars of their nativity, go to a gossip's feast, and go with me. After so long grief, such nativity.
With all my heart, I'll gossip at this feast.
Oh, Master, shall I fetch you stuff from shipboard?
Dromio, what stuff of mine hast thou embarked?
Your goods that lay at host, sir, in the centaur.
He speaks to me. I am your master, Dromio. Come, go with us. We'll look to that anon. Embrace thy brother there. Rejoice with him.
There is a fat friend at your master's house that kitchened me for you today at dinner. Oh, she shall be now my sister and not my wife. Oh.
Methinks you are my glass, and not my brother. I see by you I am a sweet-faced youth. Will you walk in to see their gossiping?
Oh, not I, sir. You are my elder.
That's a question. How shall we try it?
Ooh, we'll draw cuts for the senior. Till then, lead thou first.
Nay, then thus, we came into the world like brother and brother. Now let's go hand in hand, not one before another.
Exeunt. Ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Comedy of Errors. Please, actors, join us here to take your curtain call. Congratulations, everyone. Fantastic, fantastic work. Thank you so much. Wowee. Amazing, amazing, fantastic job, everyone. Absolutely smashed that. And what pace as well. We're at 9:05. So that whole thing, we started at 7:15. So that whole thing, including the interval, not even 2 hours long. Incredible, incredible. The audience, the applause emojis are now flooding in from our audience here. We've also had some wonderful comments on that last scene. There were some people that have never seen the play before and absolutely lost their minds at the Aemilia reveal in particular. They were just like, oh my God, there's another one. It was just like that last bit of, a cherry on the top, as it were, to peak confusion. But an absolute triumph of the final scene. Someone said they're going to have to watch the play again at least once because there were too many people to watch, which I think is absolutely true. There was so much going on all the way through that Act 5. Everyone active, everyone doing a tremendous job keeping the ball in the air. So exciting, so exciting. So, audience, if you've got any questions for our cast, please feel free to send them along. We'll probably tie this off with a short Q&A, but otherwise, please do like the video before you leave. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel and consider making a donation to our Patreon fund if you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to just make a one-off donation, you can, of course, do that by signing up for a monthly one and then just cancelling immediately after. So you can always just drop a tip in to tip your actors for tonight's performance as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Really, really well done tonight. How are you all feeling? It's so crazy to see this much energy and hear nothing whatsoever because you're all very dutifully on mute. Amazing. Amazing.
I'm gonna jump in and say it. It's the first time I've got to see a load of those scenes, so I was absolutely crying, and then I had to try and pull it together and come in and do a bit of action. That was so good.
Oh, so good. It's always a joy to get to see it come together. And it is one of the unique privileges, I think, of the way that this has to run, is that we do see the whole play all the way through for the first time on the night, along with the audience. So we as actors are getting to see each other's work and kind of find out what's been going on the other side as well. Especially with a play like this that's so cleanly divided between the two Antipholus, as it were. It's absolutely fantastic. Really good. Got one question here. How long did rehearsals last for this? I'm trying to put them all together. I think 2, 3, 3, 2. So probably about 10 hours rehearsal, probably total over 3 days, something like that.
Day and a half.
Yeah, maybe a day and a half.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah. Over 3 days. Yeah, absolutely incredible work. Really, really incredible work. Someone's asked, is Adam a real vicar?
Not at all. No.
Clearly did a really good job in that role, though, mate. Method approach to.
Yes, Rob. We had a question earlier that I thought we could.
Go for it.
Which was about how we tackled rehearsals, and particularly how we decided on all the little quirks that were in the show. So things like the teddy and the unicorn, bits like that came through in the show.
Yeah, I noticed the exhibit cartoons were hugely popular as well. Essentially, these things come out as a process of allowing our actors to get carried away. We encourage it at the start of rehearsals. We say we encourage pitching. You know, there are some people, I guess some directors that are like, I have a vision, and that is what everyone shall serve. Whereas for me, I'm much more... I take the word director to mean give direction, as in this is the trajectory we're on, but the way we get there is a communal effort. And so all of our actors were bringing tremendous ideas to the table. Similarly, our two associate directors on this show, Ben Crystal and Scott Ellis, also brought ideas to the table. And I absolutely believe in the wisdom of crowds. And I think this is kind of the proof is in the pudding, if you like, that you end up with a much more vibrant, a much more varied and creative production as a result of that, I think. Absolutely tremendous work, all of you. Really, really good. Really, really good. Someone's asked, who got confused with what character they were in rehearsal?
Rob, I think you got the most confused of anyone.
True facts.
I think the elements of writing your name down added another layer of confusion, because you might forget to write your new character down if you're multi-rolling. You'll begin your role, see the old name, and you'll suddenly think, "Oh no, am I in the wrong part now?" And you've just forgotten to update your name, and it's all chaos ensues.
Did any of the twins or siblings find any real-life similarities or parallels?
Weirdly, we all have the same shirt.
Yeah.
Which was a lovely moment.
We're both in these strange quarantine situations right now. We're both randomly stuck by ourselves, me and Robbie, and happen to have these shirts with us.
Yes. How much tinfoil did the sword take?
Please donate, because I spent all the money. I started making it, and I made one this big, and I thought, I'm sure we could do better than that. And then I got a bit carried away. I'm not gonna lie.
On that note, someone also asked, did you take inspiration from Final Fantasy VII?
Do you know what? It hit me as soon as I put the tin foil on it. I went, oh my goodness, this is like cosplay outfit. So highest donor, I will personally hand deliver to you this sword. I'll have to find a new mop. You can have this. Perfect for wall mounts and other such things.
It'll be a Comic-Con favourite, I'm sure, for sure. Have all the actors always been Shakespeare fans, or did some come to it later on?
I have always been a Shakespeare fan since I was teeny tiny.
Amazing.
I came to it later on. I only kind of came to love it once I became an actor. Like I always thought, oh, he's okay, but it was a lot of like convoluted language. And then when I went to drama school, I was like, oh my god, he's everything.
There's something just sort of clicked, I think, when you're playing it and experiencing it. Well, when I first watched, the very first Shakespeare play I ever watched was Richard III, and I must have been about 12, and it was about the interval where I had to lean over and go, "Who's Richard then?" Because I just didn't have a clue. I mean, that's more about me than it does about the play. But you know, as Hanny says, like it's when you start acting it and experiencing it and living it, and it's something just clicks, and the whole world just sort of opens up for you, and it's just, you know, amazing. Yeah, never look back.
I'm kind of the same as Harry and Honey. I didn't, if I'm honest, I didn't really like it when I was younger. In school, I'd go as far as I almost hated it. But I think it's one of those things when you read it, it just doesn't kind of make sense and you don't get it. And it was the first time I performed in it that I was like, oh yeah, this is good. I like this.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah,
The moment I performed, I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Smart.
I came to it later in life. Absolutely. I hated it at school. Didn't come back to it until I was probably about 25. And then I was in A Midsummer Night's Dream as Oberon. And I found the first few weeks of rehearsal maddening, honestly. Absolutely hated it. And then something just clicked. And as soon as I realised that there was stuff in there to find, and that acting Shakespeare was a little bit like being Sherlock Holmes and having to kind of, you know, dig into what's in there and bring it out and kind of then project it to the audience. Once I understood that that was the game that you had to play as a performer of it, I was irrevocably hooked. It was just the hooks were in, and I've never looked back. And now I just absolutely love it. So definitely, if you're watching at home and you're enjoying this experience, please just find a passage and speak it out loud and play with it, because you will find by doing so that you will very likely fall in love with it as well. Someone's asked, is watching the plays in the order they were written the best way to appreciate Shakespeare? Honestly, no, don't think it is. Because I think coming to the comedies is a great way to get introduced to Shakespeare, because they're so funny. Still today, they're so absolutely bloody funny, and they're so much more, I guess, accessible in a way. And they're a really great way to feel the universality of Shakespeare, because the comedies still relate to us on very human levels now, and usually are about topics and themes that are things that we still experience. This is probably a bad example of that. I'm sure this plot doesn't happen all the time, but if you think about things like Twelfth Night and Midsummer Night's Dream and things like that, the kind of really classic Shakespeare plays, Shakespeare comedies, I think you can't go wrong with those, really. So in one way, it's not the best way if you're coming to it for the first time ever. However, if you have been working on Shakespeare for a while, like I have, or and like many of our actors have, it can be a fascinating thing to see the evolution of the writer as he goes along. And I think there's so many prototypes in this play. We talked about this in Two Gentlemen of Verona and Titus as well. It feels like here he's kind of coming up with ideas that he's going to take and then refine even more in future plays. And I think it'd be interesting for you guys to shout some of those out in the chat if you found any parallels. Someone's asked, did it feel awkward dealing with any of the violence in the play? The Dromios get knocked about a lot in the comic business, but especially from Antipholus of Ephesus towards his wife.
There was joy in all of that for me. It was just so funny to witness. And I think both the Dromios just stepped it up every time. Like I am in awe. Like Roanna's face is purple.
Yeah. You look like you're in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Literally. She's really Violet Beauregard. She really is.
It struck me watching it. It was very Punch and Judy was the feeling, a very similar.
Yeah, and Punch and Judy's a funny one, because obviously that makes sport of domestic violence, and that's awful, right? And I think what can be really interesting about these plays is the subversive quality of what are you laughing at? as an audience and actually challenging you about that. And I think we found that with Taming of the Shrew. You know, you can laugh all the way along through Taming of the Shrew, and then that final speech by Katerina kind of casts a different light on it, and you go, oh, hang on, what have I been complicit in for 2 hours? And I think that's a valid interpretation of these plays. But I think in terms of the actual working on the violence, I mean, you guys absolutely speak for yourselves, but I had a great time because it's all play. It's all pretend. No one's getting hurt. And so for that reason, you know, you can really go for it and kind of unleash it. I thought it was really fun.
Cartoon violence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in this
nice.
we never actually have to touch each other, so it's not terrible.
That was so hard to work.
Really safe. Really safe violence.
The safest, absolutely. What? Sorry, what was that, Roanna? Did you say it was really hard to work out?
Yeah, like which hand? I was always like, where am I going? Is it this one? But stage fight director is awesome at sorting that out.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Massive big ups as always, as every week, to Yaret, Dor and Enrico Tunio, our resident fight directors. Couldn't be with us tonight, but did a tremendous job as always with just taking the kind of ideas and then just really sculpting them and turning them into something quite magical. It's a really, really tremendous job. Joe Stevenson just made a comment which I absolutely agree with. It is much better for young people to experience Shakespeare through performance and not reading, and through comedies and not tragedies. Tick, tick. Absolutely agree. You gotta see them. You gotta see them to get them. For sure. It does not sing off the page. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The hardest part of my week is reading the play before I get in a room with the cast. It sucks. It sucks. It's so hard. And, you know, I have to do it because I have to know that I know what I'm talking about vaguely and that I have a sense of what I want the play to be and establish a vision and all that kind of thing. But it is excruciating. And then you get into the room and you get to hear people speak it out loud in different voices with different faces or with different ideas to bring to the table. And the whole thing just goes and you're off to the races. And it's magical.
Our teachers at drama school always used to say that they felt that Shakespeare was never meant to just be sat and read. It was meant to be on its feet. Like
exactly.
So when you're sitting and reading, you're going to struggle. But once you get up and do it, then things will click.
Yeah. Said and not read and on your feet. It's a bodily experience doing Shakespeare, so you need to be up on your feet while you're doing it, which makes this a particular challenge, because obviously some of our actors are simulating that same energy while reclining. Yes, thank you, Alice, for demonstrating. Yes, while reclining in a comfy chair. Got a question here for me. When are we going to see you take a role? Watch this space. You will see, I guess, is the easy answer to that, because I think it's going to happen. I think it's certainly going to happen. I've got a couple in mind, so we'll see. And I feel like, you know, there is a storied tradition of actor managers or artistic directors at the Globe, for instance, just casting themselves in leads all the time. I feel like I've been very well behaved on that score.
Do you think it's time to reprise your role as Oberon?
As Oberon?
Yeah.
Possibly, but I'm not sure. There might be other things that pique the interest, I think. Yes, we shall see. We will see. Did you know that you were a director before this started? Because you're acing it. All right, Tar, thanks. Obviously, it's always reassuring that someone picks the week where I had 2 associate directors in to make this comment. So now I actually feel complete imposter syndrome. And I'm like, well, actually, they probably just fixed it and I came in and made it worse. But no, not at all. Yes, I knew that I had the instinct to direct, and I'd associate directed a couple of productions before this, and I've been a text coach for kind of a year or two, just specialising in Shakespeare and kind of getting the sense out of it and finding the opportunities in it, because as I said, that was the thing that addicted me to Shakespeare, and so that's something that I always enjoy sharing. But this has certainly been the most intense directorial experience of my life, and possibly anyone's. Like, I don't know if anyone else is doing this quite to the same extent. But that's also a reason that I wanted to do the plays in order, because I thought as Shakespeare evolved as a writer, obviously that would throw up different challenges and different levels of complexities that then would challenge me as a director as well. So hopefully from the end, I'll be a better director then than I am now. So sorry to you guys in retrospect by the time we get to the end. Wonderful. Let's see. Have we got any more questions?
We just had a mention earlier, less of a question, but just mad props to the beautiful covering by a couple of members of the cast tonight of technical mic difficulties, which was brilliant.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
MVPs.
It is called The Comedy of Errors, ladies and gentlemen, and it was covered with absolute aplomb. It was wonderful. Got one here. How many different props were involved? Don't know if I could answer that, to be honest. Shall we do a quick count?
It's about
It was fun to set up all the props in front of our screens.
Yes.
Are we double counting on each side as
well?
well?
No, exactly, because that's the thing. For every prop you see, there's like 5 of them. Yeah.
I think I've got 13 here.
13?
Yeah.
Just you have 13?
Yeah.
Amazing. It's so funny. It's one of those things I get carried away as a director and I'm like, ooh, could we have a colander? And it's like, fine, let's just add another thing.
Yes.
Brilliant. Audience loving it as well. Absolutely loving it. Wonderful. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all the time we have for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next week for Love's Labour's Lost. It's going to be another absolute smasher of a knockabout comedy, and I can't wait to get our teeth into that. Please, if you've enjoyed today's performance, like and subscribe, consider the Patreon, but also check out Shakespeare's Star Wars, which is in the link to the playlist, which is in our YouTube description. Thanks, as always, to our incredible cast and crew, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, everybody, and good night.
Just to jump in, we have an extra bonus next week, which is on Monday night. We have
we do
of The Clueless.
That's right,
So
The
we are
Taming
back.
of the Clueless. The classic cult 90s film Clueless has been reimagined by Ian Desher, author of Shakespeare's Star Wars, in iambic pentameter, and that is going to be a wonderful opportunity to see some culture clashing and lovely kind of light effervescent comedy in an entirely different way. So yes, please join us on the Quirk Books YouTube channel for that on Monday at 9 p.m. BST. What was that, Sarah? Links in the description?
Links in the description to sign up to get
description.
a free ticket to see our
Wonderful.
performance.
Thank you for keeping me honest as always, Sarah. This is why you need a producer, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night, and we will see you next week.